have a question for this young man. He has the right to be represented. I'm his father, and I want to talk to you face to face. Under the Obama health care plan, which you support, this man would be given no care whatsoever because he is a cerebral palsy handicapped person.
We put an amendment in which will address his specific problem as the bill was going through the committee.
No!
Well, when Mike Sola went to confront his Michigan Congressman John Dingell about the health care reform bill, he was eventually escorted out by police after that confrontation. Sola, as you heard, wanted answers about whether his adult son, who has cerebral palsy, will get the care he needs under the plan. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi now says those who disrupt these town hall meetings are, quote, un-American. Mike Sola joins us live to respond. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here. You know, so Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, and House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer come out with an editorial today, and they say, in part, quote, these disruptions are occurring at these town halls because opponents are afraid not just of differing views, but of the facts themselves. Drowning out opposing views is simply un-American. Is that what you were trying to do, sir?
No, sir. No, ma'am. I was trying to speak as an American in a free country with a right of freedom of speech. But I'd like to address something to Ms. Pelosi and Mr. Whatever his name is, Hoyer, and Mr. Reed. If you call my son un-American, your thugs already know where we live. We've had a visit from them in the middle of the night. They can't come to us in the middle of the day, but they come to us in the middle of the night. You know where we live. I suggest you take that plane that you have and fly to Milan, Michigan, and say that directly to my son's face if you've got the guts. This is a free country. I am a parent of a handicapped American citizen. And the reason that I am so concerned is this. Every American should pull this up on his computer. It's the New York Post, July 24th edition. Dangerous doctors. Every American needs to read this, and you'll understand why this groundswell of America's people has occurred.
The
American people...
And just to jump in, it's Deadly Doctors, I think. It's by Betsy McConaughey.
Deadly Doctors.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I've never done this before.
No, don't worry. Don't be nervous. Who was a former lieutenant governor of New York and who's been very outspoken in criticizing this health care plan from the start. And many of her predictions, some believe, have already come true. In any event, she outlines how Rahm Emanuel's brother, Ezekiel Emanuel, has got some rather, some might call them radical proposals for revision to our health care system. So that's the article to which you refer. Before we go on, I want to ask you, what do you mean they came to your house in the middle of the night?
After the incident was aired on television, we had a visit that night. A message was sent to my family. It has been reported to the Washington County Sheriff, and their deputy has reported it to the Michigan State Police.
People are harassing you now, Mike?
Yes, they are. And all I'm going to say to the person who doesn't have the courage to do it in the daytime, I will use every means available to me, lethal force if necessary, to protect Scott and my wife. Your message has been received. My wife is terrified. We have not told Scott about it. But if I ever catch you on my property, I will take the risk of going to prison. But you will never again threaten my family.
You know, Mike, we watch you at that town hall, and I have to say our empathies all went out to you. I mean, obviously, your son has struggled with cerebral palsy, and here are some adorable pictures of him when he was little. And you bring him to this town hall because you want to confront your congressman. Now, there's no question, sir, that you were outraged when you were confronting the congressman, and some might say that your voice was too loud and your accusations too harsh, but you wanted to be heard. To those who were saying you were disruptive and it was not productive, how would you respond?
If I was disruptive, the police would have arrested me. All I can say is the Romula Police Department was nothing but a bunch of gentlemen. They were fine, and I respect them, and they respected me. They did me and my family no harm. The harm that is being done by this administration and the Congress. They want to foist on us a health care plan that they themselves will not take. I challenge Barack Obama, the members of Congress of both parties. If you believe so much in this plan, then you use it on your family before you put it on our families. What you are doing is sentencing our families to death. We lose the right to life. The old people are discarded. Those who cannot fend for themselves are discarded. There is no liberty under your plan, and that's the problem. The people have seen it. The people know it. You can't hide it from the American people anymore. If I'm a thug, fine. Don't call my son a thug, and don't call those old ladies and old men that are senior citizens like I am thugs and a mob. We are not. We are American citizens who want one thing: to be heard before you put us down.
And Mike, why were you not satisfied with Congressman Dingell's attempt to tell you that treatment for the disabled, for folks like your son with cerebral palsy, will be treated in an amendment to the bill?
Because there is no such amendment. I confronted him. He said there was an amendment. The next day, a lawyer from Toledo who was in the audience called a local radio station, and he was amazed. He says, I heard what Mr. Dingell said. He said there was an amendment to protect the handicapped. If this plan that you're trying to put on us and our kids is so good, why would you even need an amendment? I asked Mr. Dingell, I said, what's the number of your amendment? He didn't know.
Yeah, I heard that on the tape. I want to get this one last question because I'm running out of time, but I want to get you to respond to this because this is clearly about you, and it's Congressman Dingell responding to what happened at that meeting. Let's listen to him, and then I'll get you to respond.
This meeting has been rather heavily infiltrated by folks who wish to make trouble, as you all saw. And they were very diligent and effective at the matter.
Mike, was that your goal, to show up and make trouble? And are you affiliated with any one of these groups? Did you show up there because you were encouraged to do so by someone on the internet or television or so on?
I came there with my wife and my son as an American citizen concerned about the plan that they're trying to put on us. Nothing. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I voted both ways. Mr. Dingell, if he was under this plan, ma'am, he would not have the two knees nor the hip. They would tell him, I'm sorry, Mr. Dingell, you're 84, you're not worth it.
Mike Sola, all the best to you and your son, Scott. We hope he's well. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.